Fullmetal Alchemist, the live
All right,
action,
I'll hand that over to 90s.
the live action adaptation of the Fullmetal Alchemist anime and manga. Now, Fullmetal Alchemist. Listen, I must admit, I am a fan of the anime, and Fullmetal Alchemist.
Weeble, get him.
And Fullmetal Alchemist is one of my favorite animes of all time. I absolutely really love Fullmetal Alchemist, and I just love everything it did as far as really having so much emotional depth in this anime. Like I think that was like one of the first animes I watched where it really really made me feel a lot. Like Cowboy Bebop did too, but like the like all the kind of heartbreak and like stuff that especially that these main characters going through, because these characters, Edward and Alphonse Ulrich, these are like kids. These are like 15, 12-year-old boys. Going through all this emotional trauma, going through so much death and tragedy, and it just really affects you. And in this movie, so basic setup for this. If you're not a fan of Fullmetal Alchemist, the basic setup is so you have these two brothers, Alphonse and Edward Ulrich. One of the brothers, Alphonse's body has been completely gotten rid of, because what they were trying to do is they were trying to bring their mother back to life, and they were trying to do that using alchemy, which they say is the law of equivalent exchange. So you have to give something in order to get something back. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to bring their mother back from the dead, which that's what the movie opens with them trying to bring their kind of mother back. And they kind of do this before they really tell what alchemy is. So I think as a person coming into it, I don't know if they'll be kind of confused, saying like, okay, what are they doing? What are they supposed to be doing? So they kind of do this before they tell it what it really is. And, and them trying to basically bring their mother back, something horribly goes wrong. Edward, he loses his leg and arm, while Alphonse loses his entire body. And then Edward has to fuse his soul to this suit of armor. That kicks off the entire series with them leading to try to find the Philosopher's Stone, which is like this big thing they're trying to find that will be able for them to get their pieces of their bodies back. Edward, his arm and leg, and then Alphonse, his entire body. And the movie starts off that as well. Like they're trying to basically hunt down the Philosopher's Stone. They find this one guy, and in the movie, after the whole resurrection, them trying to bring their mother back, it does open up with an action sequence. With them, finding kind of a false Philosopher's Stone, this guy wielding it. And a lot of the action, the special effects, I tell you, are just really, really rough, really bad. Because one really great thing about the anime as well is that it had these really inventive, cool fight scenes in it. Them like using alchemy, and him be able to form these weapons out of his arm and out of the ground, like you see like he'll form like big barriers and things like that. The fight scenes I always thought were really great in the series, in the anime, and obviously they don't have like with a show so visual as the anime, and you have a movie like this who obviously doesn't have the budget to really handle that. Obviously it comes off as really bad. And it's a shame too. There's some moments I think where Alphonse, where he's in the suit of armor, where he's just standing there, and when he's not moving, it actually looks kind of good. It's like, okay, that's not that bad. But then he starts moving, and you go, oh no, don't do that. Please don't move around. like there's some moments where he does stand there. It's like it kind of looks kind of decent, for the most part. But I was like, that looks, But then he starts moving, and I was like, oh, that looks really really bad. And I think that as far as the characterization of everybody goes, I think there's some people who they do a good job of really portraying. For instance, the guy, let me see, I don't know the actor's specific name, but the person who played Gluttony in it, the Gluttony, who's a homunculi. And these homunculi are basically like these creatures named after the 7 deadly sins. They're all named, lust, greed, envy, who are basically these monsters. And Gluttony, I think they did a really good job. The actor who played him, like he has this creepy look, and especially the way they shoot him is really nice. And he's all about just eating and consuming everything and anything he can possibly get his hands on. And I think that, I think they gave him a good look. Again, a lot of the special effects they do with him are really bad or really terrible. Like when he opens up his stomach and everything, I'm like, oh, that just looks so bad. I mean, and that was just like, oh, that's really rough.
Yeah.
I think that the actor who plays Colonel Roy Mustang, I think that if you watch, and I don't want to say too much about, well, in the anime they did this. Well, in the anime he was kind of like this, but Roy Mustang, he has this kind of swagger, this kind of cavalier type attitude, this confidence, this command. In this one, I didn't really get that same sense with this character. He just seemed kind of bored through most of it, kind of just, I'm in this, whatever, and he just kind of seemed there. Same thing can be said for Hawkeye. Like I said, in the show, I always took her. She was very strong. She was very competent. A lot of this, she kind of looks like a deer in headlights most of the time, which is a shame.
Damsel in distress.
Yeah, pretty much, kind of like just kind of deer in headlights type situation. There's some people I think they do kind of get kind of right. I think Hughes, I think the actor who played him, I think that he has a good, just a good lovable type personality about him, which was a big thing about the Hughes character as well. He's got like a great smile and everything, like also like the Hughes character. Like if you look at the actor who played Hughes and look at the anime Hughes, it's pretty much spot on. It's like they look exactly alike. It's great casting, and I think he does a really good job. Like he really, hey, I really like this guy, just by his look and kind of his personality alone, which was a big thing about the Hughes character. I think that the two titular characters, Edward and Alphonse Ulrich, I think the actor who plays Edward, like I said, Edward has kind of this personality. He's very brash, very cocky, because he's the youngest state alchemist ever, at being 15 years old. But he also kind of very playful and, also kind of very playful and jokey sometimes too. I don't think the actor kind of did that all that well in this. I think, he was a little maybe too pretty looking, I don't think he really did it all that well. The guy, who sounds like Alphonse Ulrich, I mean, it's a voice mostly. And like this is in, this is sub, so, and it's all in another language. I think he did a pretty good job. Like when I was listening to it, it sounded a lot like the anime. It's like, okay, I mean, I know it's just a voice, but okay, I was like, it's pretty spot on. Looking at it, I was like saying like, okay, what are some good things I can take away from it? Let me not only pick on the negative. I think that some of the characters I think do a good job at portraying them. Like the woman who plays Lust.
Yes.
When she walks into a room, like because Lust, like I said, she's the sin of lust, so she has to be very sultry, be very sexy, and command the room with her appearance and with her kind of sexuality. And I think she does a really good job at that. I think she does a really, really good job at that. I think the actress who plays her is really good. The special effects for her particular ability, like she has this ability where she can shoot like these kind of claws out of her fingers, like these long claws out of her fingers. But again, here comes the special effects really wearing that down, because it's like they kind of look like just these, like it kind of looks like her fingers are just Twizzlers when they shoot out, and it's like they're like kind of like what's that stuff? Silly string. Looks like some just weak ass silly string that's coming out of her fingers. Like it doesn't look like these deadly blades that are sparking out of her fingers, which is a shame. The character who played Envy, I thought Envy is I mean, that person is kind of just there as well. Like Envy is supposed to be this person who's very just, also very brash, also very cocky, and they don't really give much time to really show that. Like she's very just temperamental. That he's very just temperamental, and they don't really give much time to show that at all.
I mean, I didn't give a fuck about Envy in the anime anyway.
I kind of liked Envy in the anime, but they don't really do much with her in this, much with him in this. Yeah, I keep mixing up him and her, Envy because is Envy? Well, let me ask: is Envy supposed to be a girl or a boy? Is that a girl?
Dude, I don't even know.
Because I was always kind of confused. It's like, is that supposed to be a girl or a boy? I never
It
knew.
was supposed to be androgynous.
I
Doesn't
thought
really
so.
matter.
Okay, okay. I was like, because I was always confused. I'm like, is Envy supposed to be a girl?
Well,
or a boy?
greed is a man and lust is clearly a woman.
Yeah,
Envy is kind of really just depends on either. It was supposed to play on the role of the fact that it was either or. It's just envy. Envy doesn't really have a general form.
yeah,
Yeah, we can tell that Envy was a Prince fan.
Sure.
yeah. Pretty much.
I mean that goes into its power of transformation.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, and one thing I don't like about this movie is that it tries to cram so much into the movie. Like this is like my issue. If you ever do a Fullmetal Alchemist movie, is that there's just so much story. I think it'd be difficult to pack that all into a movie. That's why it was a TV show. Like you'd be able to really expand these characters, feel for these characters, because a lot of the big moments that happen in the anime, they try to recreate it here in the movie, and it doesn't have the same emotional weight and the same emotional impact simply because it's like, well, I don't really know these people all that well. You know what I mean? In the show, you had numerous of seasons to really get to know these characters, feel for these characters, feel for their journey. Like there's a moment where Edward and Alphonse Allwork, they're fighting each other and they're mad at each other. It's like I really barely, like in the context of the movie, I barely know these people. I think someone coming into it who's never seen the anime before will be like, okay, what the hell is this? I don't think they really do a good job at really establishing that and setting that up. And it's like, okay, why should I care about this? Why should I care about that?
I assume this was for the fans, though.
It is. And it's not the best thing ever, but it is for the fans.
I mean, if it's for the fans, I'm looking at it like, well, I just would rather just watch the TV show again, because the TV show made me want to because I haven't rewatched the TV show in a long time. I was like, it kind of made me want to go back and rewatch that again, because I'm like, this ain't doing any justice to it. You have characters in this, like I said, that don't really feel like they're doing a good job of portraying a lot of the people sometimes. I mean, some do a decent job, good job, but a lot of it's like, I could just watch the anime that better explores these things instead of watching it all crammed into a 2-hour plus movie. And like the character Ken Winry, who's the one who designs Edward's like automail, like for his leg, and she's the one who gave him the artificial leg and arm and everything like that. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt about her in the anime. I liked her. I thought she was pretty good. But in this, I was just like, I mean, she's really barely even really there. She feels like barely a presence. Like she's supposed to be someone who's very just like jovial, very like so full of energy. Like they kind of try to recreate that here, but I think they failed to do that.
She's the tone. She, like Hughes, is like the small moments of happiness, and they just beating down of miserable suffering that you have to go through for that series.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's why I kind of quit watching Full Metal. I got about halfway and I said, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, it will wear you down. It is pretty depressing. Like it's a show that's like, wow, like, this is dark, man.
I think I eventually finished the first series, and then when Brotherhood was announced, I said, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And like everyone tells me, oh, it's fantastic. It's really amazing. I believe you.
It's like, yes, it is, and I will agree, and I'm gonna walk the other way.
Basically, yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah. And there's a lot of major characters like that they don't even really bring into the movie. Like Scar is not in the movie.
That's probably for the best. That would be a whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Part of this movie's too crowded anyway, enough as it is.
Dude, I have no idea what's going on. Like with this movie. Go ahead.
Oh, with the movie, yeah. I mean, they're trying to condense so much of the anime, the manga into this one movie, like I said. And this movie feels way longer than it is. Like this movie's 2 hours and like 20 minutes. And it feels forever. I'm like, damn. Like I was like an hour into it. I checked it. I'm like, damn. I still got all this time left on this movie.
There's no way you can put what was it, like 25, 27 episode series. You can't cram that into a 2 hour movie.
No.
Josh, I want to see if you agree with me. I feel like they wasted most of that time because I'll admit, I jumped ship about 45 minutes in, but I skipped through it just to see what they were going through, and I'm like, wait, did they just skip everything? Like this is just a small portion of the entire series.
Um, let me get into spoilers here. So I'm just to wrap up my final thoughts on it. Um, I like it better than Death Note. I think I can say that.
That's a low bar.
Yeah,
I think I like it better than Death Note. But I still wouldn't watch it again. I say thumbs down. Just go watch the anime. Watch Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Watch the movies. Like I think Full Metal Alchemist. Like I said, I think it's one of my favorite animes of all time. I think it's one of the best animes of all time. I think if you even look at lists and stuff like that, they're like top 10 animes. I think Full Metal Alchemist will probably be in there.
It and Cowboy Bebop are in people's constant lists.
Yeah, so like,
please don't make a Cowboy Bebop movie. Oh God.
so
They don't.
I would
That
say
is one of the
thumbs
few
down.
animes I could see being live action and actually working.
It could, but it won't.
Yeah, so
No, not unless somebody like David Fincher or someone who actually can, or like hell, I'd even accept the guy who did the recent Blade Runner movie.
yeah,
Like
he
I
could pull
said,
it.
it could, but it won't. Like
Yeah.
I've lost faith in Assassin's Creed video games, Tomb Raider's coming out soon, Avatar: The Last Airbender anime. Like I'm still considering that anime. I don't care what nobody says.
Right.
Full
It's
Metal
kind of
Alchemist,
a
I'm done.
mix. It's
Yeah.
both American animation and anime.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, with this one, yeah, I give it a thumbs down. I say don't check it out. Don't watch it. And so again, the spoilers here. They do so the major plots they do are they do the Hughes death. I'm not Hughes death. Hughes. They do his death. His death, which was a big,
Damn, already?
yeah, they do. I mean, they do that one in the movie, which was a dramatic.
Trying to build up.
Yeah, which was
Yeah,
dramatic scene in the
they
anime.
skipped so many like of their journeys, right? Like I'm really trying to remember the anime at this point.
Yeah, because they don't go to you talking about Ishbal?
They never went to Isbal. Like that was it's so weird. Like how did they not put the villain? I don't know, man. You carry on because you know more than me at this point.
Yeah, so they do the Hughes death in here. They do the Shao Tucker. They do that storyline with the daughter, which I think that was a pretty good scene. Like I said, the special effects are bad, which almost kind of makes it look creepier. The fact that it's the special effects look kind of bad. Like for some reason, how they made it creepier looking, and I don't know whether it's because, like I said, I've seen the anime. I know the context of that. And like, cause you got to know Shao Tucker and his family. Like Edward was hanging around him and his daughter for a while, for like some episodes before he did what he did, which was turn her into a chimera. And you learn that this dude is a complete just psychopath. And but I thought the scene in the movie, I thought it was really well done by the actor who played Edward. I thought he gave good passion to it. And the dude who played Shao Tucker, I thought he had a good sliminess about him. That was effective. I thought, okay, he's pretty good. So I thought that was a really well handled scene, the way they did that. It just, they don't really build up to it enough because I said so much is crammed in. It just feels like a compilation of all the greatest hits from the anime. So they do that storyline. They do the storyline with the what's the specific name for them? With the zombie looking creatures that come from the other side. The dummy looking creatures. What's their names?
Oh, you lost me.
Dude, I saw that in the movie and I didn't know what they were.
Yeah, it's like these dummy looking creatures. I'm sorry, I can't remember the exact name for them. Like these zombie looking creatures, which they put in this movie. Which in the anime, I think Edward and someone else teamed up to kill them. But in this one, it was the military. Like they just shot him in the head. It's like, hey, so they all, the military all teams up and they shot him in the head. And then in regards to the Hughes death, in the movie they blame it on Roy Mustang, which doesn't last long, by the way. Like nobody really believes that Roy, like it goes so fast.
Yeah, I can create fire from nothing. Why would I bother killing him in that way?
Yeah, I mean, so in the movie they say like it was Roy Mustang because one of the homunculi lusts she kills him and she morphs into Roy Mustang, and then people
Don't you
blame.
mean envy?
No, in the anime it was. In the movie it was lust. In the movie,
Yeah,
Oh,
which
all right.
yeah, in the movie it was lust. In the anime too, wasn't it lust?
No, in the anime,
she never
in
she
the first anime that was not like partly based on the manga, but then went a different path. That Hughes Death was that's the one I've seen was he was chasing envy. He basically figured out everything,
Yeah.
and he was able to kind of because he noticed like one of the people he was following, she didn't have a mole that he knew was there, and then she turned into his wife, and he hesitated, and then she like killed him,
Right.
and that was envy, and that hurt more. Because he knew he would hesitate, and then he's like, well, he kind of like I accept it,
Mm.
like so that hurt more. I think I don't know about Brotherhood. Maybe in Brotherhood, it's Lust that kills him in that one, but Lust I didn't think had the power of transformation.
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm thinking. I thought that was
Envy always had the power of transformation. Gluttony ate shit. I guess what's his name? It doesn't matter. Honestly, I don't care enough.
Right. Yeah, cause I remember. I think maybe it was in Brotherhood. Yeah, 'cause Brotherhood. Yeah, Lust. I think Lust was maybe the one that killed. I think it was in Brotherhood. I can't exactly remember. But in the movie, it was Lust here, and so they try to blame it on Roy, but that doesn't last that long. Because like people just immediately go like, okay, yeah, I guess you didn't kill him. And I guess you didn't. So that's ended pretty quickly. Um, and then the relationship you feel between Hughes and Roy Mustang, like how they have the kind of this close friendship and kinship with each other. You don't really get a sense of that in the movie at all.
Kind of like he's kind of like a surrogate father.
To Hughes, Roy Mustang is.
No, sorry. I thought you were talking about Edward. Yeah, no, they're like kind of brothers in arms. It's kind of like a brotherly kind of
Yeah.
like respect. Kind of like an older brother cuz Roy's done some shit he's not proud of.
Right.
Even though he hides that under his tough exterior, he's kind of a bitch.
Yeah. And you're right. So it was Envy. Envy was the one that killed. Because I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now. So it was Envy. Envy was the one that killed him. And Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Envy was the one that did it. She the one because she can transform. She's the one with transformation there. So yeah, I mean, and then when they actually show the effects to Roy Mustang's fire, that looks weak as hell too. Like damn. I mean, because what he does with his ability, like he can snap his fingers, but it goes so fast, like the way it ignites, it just blows up something. You go, what the fuck was that? Like, what the hell was that? It
hey,
just goes so.
that is better than Avatar: The Last Airbender, where they had a full team of people lifting a fucking pebble. I'm happy on this. Like, this is a giant improve.
I guess so. I mean, but the way it just shoots out like such like just weak. It just like I said, like with Lust and her blades, it just shoots out like silly string, like Twizzlers or something like that. It's just
You're
weak.
comparing it to the apples to apples. This movie seemed like, even though it was made for Netflix, it seemed like a movie that would have been made in Japan. Like it looks like a in Japan movie, and I don't doubt that it wasn't.
Yeah,
Like very similar to I want to, and just got released on Netflix. Like if you've ever seen the Death Note like Japanese movies they did where L saves the world and all that stuff, that's all like made in Japan.
Yeah,
So like kind of with that kind of style and limited, and I mean limited budget. They
yeah,
work on shoestring budgets.
yeah, they at least a tenth of these big budget movies we have in America.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Like
For every 10 million we
I'd
have,
always be interested to see what a Japanese movie company would do if they just handed them an American movie budget. They'd be like, I don't know what to do with this.
like that's too much. Please, thank you. They'll
Yeah,
bow.
they probably would be like that. No, that's more than enough.
Um,
And
but I mean, yeah, just to cancel out the final thought. So yeah, I mean, I'd say, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's all that really exciting to watch. I'd say, yeah, just go ahead and watch the anime. But 90s, you was gonna say something?
oh, this probably be my final statement, but I just want to ask, like, there was a big stigma with this movie because, of course, like people try to say whitewashing and like when it comes to Asian movies, but yeah, this one actually chose to put Asian actors in it, and the director chose to do that because of like the culture of it all. Let me see if I can find the actual quote.
Okay.
He said, most important point, the most important point in this story is the relationship of the bond between the brothers. No. Improvise at this point. Ultimately, it was a choice between facial features or what's inside. Like he tried to make sure that he chose Asian actors because they emote more. Like I don't know if you ever watch any live action, but just regular TV from Japan. They're very expressive. Like like it's
They're very I would kind of compare it to early Hollywood when they're all stage actors.
yeah, pretty much.
Interesting enough, though, this is probably the one time where I would almost been okay with the whitewashing thing because it's in Germany.
Yeah, and they said it like they actually filmed it in Italy, I think, which is weird.
Yeah, like the Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric are German names.
Yeah.
Hughes is a German German name. He looks like he could be a mix of another kind of race too. Roy is probably the only one. Roy would probably be the only one I would say would be Japanese.
Yeah.
Like he definitely has the look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes.
yeah,
It's
but
a
whatever.
little-
I mean, whatever makes people happy and feel good inside.
no. I
Yeah,
mean,
and I want to ask you guys, do you think that what he was going for, like the expressiveness of it all, like okay, I'm gonna choose this because it reflects their culture more or whatever, and it's like it's kind of hard to get a English. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's hard to get another culture to do this. Like, do you think that they chose this and it worked? Because I think personally that they could have just went with Europeans.
I mean, since this is listen, it's Japanese, and as far as the whole whitewashing thing goes, yeah, like this one, it makes sense to have white people in it because it is in Europe, and it, like Edward and Alphonse Ulrich, they're both German, like they're blonde, long blonde hair with blue eyes, like you can't get no more whiter than that. Well, actually, they don't have blue eyes. I'm sorry.
You could be ginger.
You talking about in Japan? You could be.
No, I'm talking about you can't get no whiter than that.
Oh yeah, right. You just. That's just white. Like you just. They're very white. There's some characters you look at and you go like, oh yeah, they're. Of course, I think they are Asian or they are Japanese of descent. Like Roy Mustang, he looks, like a Japanese person. Darker hair, darker eyes. Like that's a Japanese look. Like Japanese people don't have long blonde hair. So like
not naturally.
Yeah, so that's something that does. But you get people in here like Ghost in the Shell. It's like clearly, they're named Japanese names. So why wouldn't you put somebody who is Japanese in it?
Also, that series tended to be more realistic when it came less anime-ish, even less so even than Fullmetal Alchemist, where clearly we're more Japanese looking.
Yeah,
even the places that. Go ahead.
No, I really wasn't gonna say anything too interesting. I think they're just doing it just to mess with us, you guys. Like, I really think this is just all for conversation at this point. The movie's
honestly, I could give a shit. Probably the only reason they did that was A, it makes them feel better. B, it placates towards Japanese audience, which probably is the main people and the people who have watched it over here in America.
Yeah.
And C, it's probably a better idea that they got Alphonse, a legitimately pretty good voice actor. And you're probably only going to find that in Japan, or if you decide to drag what's his name, Nathan Drake, to voice Alphonse, or Troy Baker, probably Troy Baker. Yeah. They're probably the only two they probably would have picked. So, hey man, it gets people work, and they have also maybe because the jokey side of Fullmetal, which is it's very it's early on, but it quickly disappears later in the series. That's that type of humor is much more I would say Japanese comedy style. It's still a bit more cartoony, so they could get that off, and the way they express themselves probably would have worked. So it flows. I'm not bothered by it, but yeah, it's just ironic that this is like what everyone was bitching about Death Note, where it literally was in Japan and everyone looked Japanese. Even the girl who had blonde hair was a Geru style,
Yeah.
a style in Japan, and she could have easily been copied over in Japanese and would have fit perfectly. And this time we're in Europe, where legitimately they're Germans, and they're like, no, we're Japanese cast.
Yeah. I mean,
Maybe one day we'll get it right.
Yeah, I don't really mind too much like this. Like I say, white
Yeah,
people,
man.
they come, they take the roles. So
Yeah.
Asian people, they finally, like, listen, take this.
They got something.
Because hey, they got this. So, but I mean, I'm gonna go back and rewatch the anime again because I had a lot of fun with that anime.
Good luck with you. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Hello, thanks for checking out our content. If you liked it, let us know. And if you didn't, let us know that as well. If you want to see more content, we post every Saturday on SoundCloud and YouTube at The Afternoon Tune. You can also find us through various social medias, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all one word at The Afternoon Tune. And if you don't deal with any of that social media stuff, you can also find us through our email at theafternoontune@gmail.com. And don't forget to always stay tuned.